back from that break. Glad you're still watching Science Breakfast with me, Alan Herbert, and the sign language interpreter this morning is Esther Kendi. And these are the stories that are making headlines in the country. We started off with Cherera 4. Commissioners say 2022 presidential poll indeterminate. And the Cherera 4 made an explosive return yesterday with claims that they were forced to resign from office after President William Ruto took office as the 5th president. Now, they said this during a bipartisan committee meeting yesterday chaired by Kimani Ichung'wah, Majority Leader, and Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper Party, but as well as Eugene Wamalwa, among other leaders from different parts of the country. The Cherera 4, that is Mercy Masit and Cherera herself, they spoke on a video conferencing technology while they were in the United States, as they narrated the fears that they went through during and after the elections of 2022. Here is the full report.
The Cherera 4 were forced to resign. It was never our intention to resign. And therefore, we would want to ask that the reason why the Cherera 4 were removed from office is because they questioned the process that the chairman used to declare the results.
The IEBC failed to undertake electronic tabulation and publication of constituency tallying of presidential results. This violation had two effects. One, it ensured that the country had no electronic source to counter-check the results obtained from the portal. Nor did it have the benefit of tabulated results by the institution that is constitutionally mandated to undertake tabulation. This shifted, therefore, the returning officer's obligation under Article 86 and 138 to the chairman as the sole returning officer working with officials at the tallying center who have no statutory role or clear procedure of delegation by the commissioners.
Up to now, we don't know the results, and it's very important that we audit these results. It's very, very important, because when we audit and even made open to everybody, even those people who have been elected and who lost as MPs, and even others, they will know their results, because I want to say this was not tallying, there was no tallying, there was no verification. It was just, it is not, I don't know what to say about it as a commissioner. We want the next generation of commissioners at IBC be people that will be handled with integrity that it deserves. And their voice will not be shut down, because as commissioners, we were there in the kitchen. We know what happened. Some of these things need to be spoken in a safe space.
Away from Cherera 4, now to church leaders ask Kenya Kwanza government to go beyond lip service and empty promises. The Anglican Church of Kenya has called out President William Ruto's administration, accusing it of engaging in rhetorics and excuses instead of putting deliberate efforts towards the implementation of campaign pledges. In their pastoral messages to the nation led by Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, Anglican Church leaders faulted the government shareholders' notion, saying that all Kenyans should be treated equally as the election period is long gone.
Our honest observation as a church is that there is more of rhetoric and excuses than conscious efforts to take practical implementation. We urge the government to go beyond promises and lip service and embrace practical programs to alleviate sufferings of Kenyans. Cessation of public appointments in already divided nation. Kenyans deserve equal opportunities and treatment regardless from where they come from. call upon the teams involved to embrace the spirit of good faith during the talks and to provide ways that can help the country address deeply rooted systemic issues which have polarized this nation.
On the issue of the skyrocketing cost of living, that can help.
Excessive taxation is detrimental not only to the spirit of the investment, but it is also a demotivating factor to the people who work hard to make a living. The high increase in taxation, notably the VAT added on petrol, is a source of concern for all. We believe it is imperative for our government to appreciate the fact that Kenyan citizens are already stretched to their limits.
And away from church leaders, and now to another story here that is making headlines in the country. Professor Muigai Githu questioned proposals to increase constituencies. Former Attorney General Githu Muigai has recommended the reduction in the number of constituencies and counties, citing a huge burden on the taxpayer, while giving his perspective on the boundaries delimitation process to the National Dialogue Committee on Thursday. The former AG said it will be cost effective to have a lean parliament. Here is the professor of law speaking to the bipartisan committee yesterday.
We have too many people in parliament. We have too many constituencies. So that we should be reducing constituencies, not increasing. We have too many counties. We should reduce counties, not increase counties. They are costing us a lot of money, and quite a number of them are not viable.
It's true that we have never realized the 0.3% since the inception of the fund in 2007. But I want to note that the fund has been growing over time. So it's very clear. To us, once somebody has been elected on a particular party, there must be, if you want to move, then there must be the required regulations and laws on how you move from one political party to another.
Crisis started at the point that the police refused to accept notifications, that they began to intimidate and arrest organizers, and wherever protesters gathered non-violently, they dispersed them with tear gas, rubber bullets, and as the months continued, live weapons.
From that to Senate, as it terms Turkana County a crime scene over audit queries. The Senate has described Turkana County as a crime scene embedded in multi-billion shillings corruption through scandalous stole projects effected by the county government over Turkana. Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomorokai told the parliamentary watchdog inspecting the stalled projects that the financial discrepancies were affected by the leadership of his predecessor Josephat Nanok, and called for investigating agencies to unearth the alleged corruption and bring to book those culpable.
800 million would probably deliver 40 boreholes, 40 classrooms, and perhaps could deliver 10 level 3 hospitals. We don't have those kind of things. When we leave this place, we'll be going to see the governor's residence, which is told. Then we are going to see the speaker's residence, which is told. Then we are going to see the assembly premises, which is told. What is in it for the people of Turkana? Turkana now has new leadership, and we want to encourage the governor to take control. We want to encourage the governor to be firm, so that we don't seem just to be investing in things for the bosses and things for the political classes. We need to see a lot of this money going out to help the women and the youth and the people of Turkana. The stalled projects, the state of financial mismanagement that we have seen in Turkana over the last 10 years, I think we could reach the conclusion that this is a crime scene.
This thing was perpetrated by the regime that left, and many other projects in this county, including even the governor's residence. I think we need to visit to see the shape of it. It's completely not complete. And this is because of, to me, I think there was lack of leadership.
Away from Narok to government estimates Kenyan shillings 10 billion to manage effects of El Nino. The government says it has put in place adequate measures to mitigate the effects of El Nino rains, set to start mid-October. In a stakeholder meeting chaired by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the government has estimated that it requires more than 10 billion shillings to manage the effects of El Nino, especially in ASO areas. Here are the full details.
We do propose that we have proper coordination, stakeholder participation, and as we go on, each sector to prioritize possible response in terms of prime urgency.
And out of the 23 counties that we have, we already have an estimation of about 8 billion shillings. You can imagine by the time the others come, we'll probably be at 15 billion shillings that will be required to fund this El Nino preparedness and response activities.
We are not preparing to respond to the El Nino expected disaster. Rather, we are consolidating and refining coordination strategy for mitigation. Unlike the past, we are saving lives and livelihoods before tragedy strikes.
In the event the Ministry of Education, when they are conducting their exams, some areas will not be accessible. We have our aviation section that is ready. Our equipments are ready.
It is very important for us, Kenyans, to take measures to reduce the negative impact of these rains. That is why we are appealing to those living in low-lying and flood-prone areas to move to higher grounds.
If KEMSA is giving us 2 weeks turnaround time, the drugs are at 60%. If we don't capitalize KEMSA, how do we expect KEMSA to give us drugs within less than a week and deliver last mile?
So we are ready. The only person who was supposed to give direction properly here, and I can see he's not straight, is the Minister for Finance. You know, it's good we say the truth. From Ranger Red Cross, from the Governor, Chair of Council of Governors, from Minister Miano, Minister Susan, everybody who spoke here, they have the tools.
Well, from that to CS Kindiki says prison service will no longer be headed by outsiders. The top leadership of Kenya Prison Services will no longer be outsourced from other security agencies. Instead, the correctional facilities leadership will be headed to a career prisons officer to ensure a clear career progression path. Here is the Cabinet Secretary speaking to the same.
So I've made it clear, this is the last time we are going to have an officer outside the Kenya Prison Service leading the Kenya Prison Service, because it demoralizes the officers who we recruit every year if they cannot aspire to rise to the top and so forth. So we are working on that area on succession management, career progressions, promotions, and much of it has been addressed in the Presidential Task Force report. It's only that I didn't want to preempt it.
Away from that, we come to the end of the news that are making headlines in the country. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're coming back with the news that are making headlines on the African continent. Keep it science.